What's up, guys? This is Griffin coming at you from St. Louis, Missouri, with my guest, the illustrious Matthew Chelka.
How do you do, folks?
We're just checking out some new arrival electric guitars in the store right now. Right now, I have a Blackguard Telecaster with a very peculiar pickup inside of it. I don't know how it's pronounced. We were having a bit of a debate about it earlier, but this pickup right here, it's spelled CuNiFe, so I was calling it a CuNiFe, but I don't know if that's even remotely close to correct.
It's hard to know what they expect people to call that, but the gist is it's got three main elements that make up the from the periodic table that make up the inner workings of the magnets and such in there. So it's obviously a proprietary blend of materials that Fender has come across that they feel pretty strongly about.
Yeah, it's copper, nickel, iron, and sometimes they have cobalt in them. I'm not familiar if this one does or not. I don't think it does because they didn't mention it, but it very well might. But I found that it's a very lively neck pickup, very, very Fender-y sounding, which it makes sense that they
in that the CuNiFe or CuNiFe, whatever we want to call it, that's just referring to the neck pickup?
Yes.
Okay.
And the word I would use is like lively. It's very full-bodied, like a neck pickup should be, but it has the twang that you want out of a Telecaster, but it's not overbearing at all whatsoever. I am not.
It's not muddy at all.
Not at all. Yeah, that's what's great about it. Is you can really hammer on your strings like. So it's got enough output and enough compression to, like, you can see even on cleans my legato is ringing through, but it's not. You don't hear only attack. You hear the actual like fluidity of the note. You know, I'm a pretty big fan of it. Oh, this one is also outfitted with a Bigsby, which made me very, very curious about trying it out.
That two-tone burst, the way it's such a dark...
Yes, and the relicing was incredibly well done on this one, too. Fender Custom Shop always does a really good job, but this one is just, I mean, just super authentic looking. Like, it doesn't look like someone got paid an extra couple dollars just to throw some beanbags at it on their off day. Bigsby is super stable, super, what's the word? I don't want to say fluid all the time, but it is. It's very fluid. It's very smooth.
Well, it's subtle. It's not a dive bombing operation. Good sound of telly.
It really is. It plays incredibly well too. It's got a super dramatic but not uncomfortable V-shaped neck. I'm not a typical V-neck guy, but the second I felt this one, I was like, Matt, you have to try this one out. It is very dramatic down here, not very deep, but it's a very V-shaped, if that makes sense. Like the angle at which the V comes in is very dramatic, but it tapers out super dramatically as well, and it ends at almost like a D-shaped neck, like a medium to thin D-shaped neck. And that's a really cool and unique telly, like that I really haven't really had too much time with. Yeah, I haven't spent very much time with V-necks in general, but every time I do, I'm always very pleasantly surprised by how much I can dig in with my left hand as opposed to my right hand. And I don't know if that's proper technique, but it feels good to just grip it and like really hammer in it. It makes bends super expressive. It makes hammer-on super easy to do. Like, it almost so easy that like your hand will tire itself out because you just are like you're just you really want to keep like. There's just something about the grip of it that
it's a planted feel.
That's a great way to put it. You feel incredibly planted on it. I would compare it to, which I guess you would more compare the Strandberg next to this. It's a lot of what you get out of like those asymmetrical trapezoid shaped necks, where it's just you get this tremendous grip that as much as I love C and D shaped necks, they don't always give you. So yeah, I'm a pretty big fan of this guitar, and it can handle gain pretty well too. Let's get a little more. Ran out of frets, folks. Yeah, this is one of those guitars that came out of the box, and I knew I would like it just because of the way it looked, and I knew it would capture the vibe of the Relic, Tele, Bigsby. It checks all those boxes, but it can do a lot more than that too.
It reminds me of like a 50s Tele that somebody very lovingly hot rodded with the Bigsby and the neck pickup and the...
Like you would never get out of their house them telling you the anecdotes about this guitar. This guitar has stories and anecdotes that they baked into it at the factory, which you can't really say about a lot of different things. What do you got right there? It looks like you already prepped something for me.
Oh, this is one. We can trade if you want.
Cool.
I just like the paint job on that guitar.
Yeah, so this is quite peculiar. This is a Rickenbacker 360 in candy apple purple. It's a color that I have not seen anywhere else. I believe, I don't want to speak out of turn, but I believe we're the only people that have this right now. Anybody out there that's seen it somewhere else, or if you're selling it, feel free to prove me wrong.
At least according to Rickenbacker, Eddie's Guitars is the only one with 360s in this color. And I don't believe, again, if they told us the facts, which we assume that they have told us the facts, they're not going to make any more in that color either. So,
which is pretty insane.
And we have very, very few of them. So
yeah, they've been selling. We've sold out of probably 40% of the ones that we have in 3 days. They're definitely the hottest moving item in our inventory right now as far as the amount of which are moving, which with good reason. I mean, it is everything you love about Rickenbacker with a color that is just, I mean, these guitars are not my flavor at all if you've heard my playing or anything. Like Rickenbackers aren't my style. I think they make incredible stuff, but I've thought about taking one of these home double-digit amount of times. I've like worked out the logistics in my head over the last couple days of taking one of these home, just because it's kind of like what I was saying about the Tele. It checks all those Rickenbacker boxes, but then you have this whole other element of a loud finish that they never do, you know?
Loud yet somehow still tasteful.
Yes, it's not obnoxious. Like the flake and the metallic nature of it is small enough to where you don't you're not playing some of the sparkle guitars that are on this wall that I personally love, but some people might feel a little self-conscious about, you know, shining quite that bright, you know. Let's see how the lead sounds just because I'm already on there. Setup on this thing is crazy.
But I can even just visually tell from here that one thing that always, just over the years, that one thing that, as much as I love the Rickenbacker stuff, and believe me, I absolutely do, The super ultra extra glossy fingerboards that typically come on their guitars was something just from a feel standpoint was always a hurdle for me, and probably hard to tell from this camera angle, but they're now doing kind of more of a satin or a matte finish on the face of the fingerboard. The rest of the guitar is glossy and shiny, but the face of the fingerboard is more of a natural kind of a satin feel, and boy, oh boy, is that ever an improvement.
I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, they just, right after I started working here, they just started doing that, and it was basically just like, we were all so accepting of it that it just became the overnight reality of like, so we kind of forgot that it was this big deal that they started doing it. Yeah, it increases the playability and the responsiveness of playing faster stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, tenfold. My fingers will stick to gloss like nobody's business. Gloss necks typically aren't a huge issue. They're not my favorite, but I can get around them. Gloss fingerboard, when I'm getting resistance from both sides, you have no grip at all. So it's really nice to be able to really plant yourself, like I was saying earlier. Setup on this thing's amazing. The it like, I just keep zoning out. So if this guitar interests you at all, hop on it.
Now is the time.
Yeah, you've heard Matt enough to know that he's not the finger gun salesman-y guy when it comes to this type of stuff. So let me piggyback off of his credibility a little bit and say that we won't have these very long, and we might not ever get them again. Very similar to, I know Matt's got this one out. I wasn't going to play this next Rick here just to keep it from being too repetitive. We have these Midnight Blue 350s as well.
I'm going to grab that just to get it in front of the camera real quick.
These are also exclusive. They do not have any more. We have the only ones available, and they're just very cool, very interesting. If you've always been wanting a Rick, but you don't want a black or a natural guitar or a tobacco burst guitar, I mean, as cool as all three of those options are, we have this Midnight Blue available, which is just super classy, super smooth, and these guitars play and sound absolutely phenomenal.
That is a hip color with that white guard on there.
100%, yeah. Love the bridge down here too.
Rock and roll.
This next one up, I'm quite excited about.
That's you.
It is me. This is a Tom Anderson Angel in Strawberry Shortcake Wakesurf. This was a guitar that I actually contacted Roy at Anderson Guitar Works to have built for me. It's a personal build, and it just arrived last week, and I couldn't be more happy with it. It is, simply put, the finest electric guitar I've ever played. it is so painstakingly, like, it just feels like it was made for me, and it feels like it was made with, like, you know, Jurassic Park, we spared no expense. Like, they spared no moment of time or effort or knowledge or craftsmanship. It truly just, for a guitar that doesn't try to reinvent the wheel as far as features and everything, they have the shortest distance between what I hear in my head and what I play with my hands than I felt with any instrument. And it just goes to show that the guys at Anderson, guys, gals, everybody at Anderson, really take it seriously and take their time and work everything out to be the best it could possibly be. Like, me and Matt were saying that, like, their guitars are incredible, but I don't know if it would be very fun to work there because of how perfect everything is. Like, it must just be like, oh man, 3 millimeters from that side, there might be a finish blemish if on the leap year in 2032. You know, they just think of everything. It's unbelievable what they can do over there. But this is HSH setup, vintage style tremolo, roasted maple neck, swamp ash back.
Caramel maple, baby.
Oh yeah, caramel maple.
How's it taste?
I mean, I've never had caramel on a strawberry shortcake, but I can only imagine it'd be pretty good, right? It's equipped with an unbelievable amount of tones, an overwhelming amount of tones. 5-way switch with the HSH configuration. It's also got a like, it's got a coil tap, and then it's got the, like, phase switching.
Yep.
Yeah, it's got a phase switch in there as well. So between that, the coil tap, and my 5-way switch, I can barely pick which sounds cool, or like the coolest one, which is a problem that I'm happy to have.
What humbuckers are in here, just for reference?
I believe it's the HC2 Plus and the HC1. The HC3s just sounded, on their website, the description of it was like, you can mow your lawn with this thing. And I was like, that sounds like a lot. I don't know if I need that much.
Keep going, man. I'm learning.
To the audience that is looking at camera B, on camera A, Matt is mocking my triplets by.
I mock nothing.
By miming
I'm just
along
learning
to them. I was hoping Honda would pan back to camera A.
That is camera A. That's camera A. This is camera B.
That's sweet.
Any comments?
I had a couple.
What's Kyle up to?
I don't see Kyle in here.
He's fired.
So Deja Voodie was commenting on the Rickenbacker, the 360, saying that it has. We were talking about the fretboards and how they're either not glossing them or less glossing them, and they were saying that that it does highlight the rosewood in a unique way, but their gloss is an acquired taste for sure.
Yes, yeah, I would agree with that. It definitely does when you get a nice piece of rosewood. The gloss does. It illuminates the grain of it, but I mean, if you're playing on it, so ultimately at the end of the day, how it plays is more important. So I think that's why they eventually decided to come to this decision that they did.
Well, and I don't know, but I have to believe that just with, actual playing and fingering and, over time, I have to believe that the more kind of satin finish that they're doing on the face of the fingerboard now will wear better,
100%.
over time, I would think, or wear in a nicer looking
100%.
way, perhaps, but,
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of like when I was doing my order for this guitar, they mentioned, and funny enough, we talking about Kyle. Kyle mentioned the same thing of doing this headstock in gloss so that the pink logo would pop a little harder. But ultimately, I just wanted the symmetry and consistency of all satin the entire way up. But yeah, like it just in the way that the gloss makes the fretboards of the Ricks pop more, but isn't really, it's all just acquired taste. If you end up or if you play a super glossy fretboard on a Rick and you love it, that's awesome. Like I'm glad, like they wouldn't have done it for that long.
On the 4003s, for some reason, I like the gloss fretboards.
I mean, I've played so many 4003s that I love, and I played them a lot of them before I started working here. So that means they had gloss fretboards on them. So
well, it's amazing how it changes the tone too. I'm kidding.
Deja Voodoo said on your Anderson, it said, "Wow."
Yeah,
smooth as silk. Congratulations.
We are all jealous. Seriously.
Yeah, it's I feel so lucky. Like just an unbelievable shout out to everybody there. They were just so accommodating and so like, look at the top they picked for me.
Seriously.
So they picked this Wakesurf. They picked a top that literally looked like water. Like they do these finishes to look like a boat pulling water. And obviously you would want to pick the best grain for that, but they really painstakingly did that. It almost looks like they just laid a 3D graphic over it, but it's you can see it's thick. It's a thick top. You know?
Deja Voodoo says I've seen some nice Andersons recently, but good lord, that fade is delicious.
It is. Like I said, I feel like I don't deserve
good
this
enough
guitar.
to take a bite out of.
Yeah, it's truly like. I have to remind myself that I have it. I will pull it out to play, and I'll find myself staring at it for longer than I should. Kyle, who is in the comments quite a bit and is fired, he played it at my place. He also said, same thing I did. It's the finest electric guitar either of us have ever played. And what's cool about Tom Anderson is they're only getting better. So we will continue to get guitars here that are better than this, and then I will have to order another one.
See, that's what's amazing. When you were talking about all of the attention to detail and the R&D and all the work and, how they have spared nothing to get it to this point, as much as you personally would love to believe that they did all of that just for you, they do that in every freaking guitar.
Every guitar, like the guitar that made me order this guitar is better than that. And Matt has an order on them with it. And I guarantee you Matt's guitar is going to be better than this because they are going to hone and just keep sharpening that samurai sword as they go and keep going.
No resting there.
They did not give me an extra hookup dealer style. They did not pick any special pieces or anything like that. They just did the same level of craftsmanship that they do on everything that leaves their door. For instance, we have another Anderson coming up. You'll hear, and I've played it. It's like the same guitar with a little less neck and no middle pickup. It is like dead ringer. Like you could blindfold me and the only thing I would be able to be like, oh, I'm not hitting a middle pickup, and the neck is a little less slim. Everything they do for a reason. Everything they say no to for a reason. Mm-hmm. They said no to me and Matt so many times on so many things, and they were right about pretty much all of them.
The way that they kind of gently guide you into, you might not want that for this reason. It's never just like we don't really do that. They're very careful to explain, hey, we've probably tried that and we steer clear of that. And for this reason.
As people that try to get people the right guitar, I personally learned a lot from talking to them, just in the ways to be like, oh, I can see why you're going down that road, but we went down this road, and this road, and caught on fire on 2 out of 3 of those roads, so that you can really only take this third road. right here.
Well, and electronically, the finish they do, I mean, everything, the hardware, it's all it's all there.
The pickups, I mean, the pickups speak for themselves. Neck pickup is insane.
So good.
It the splits, your like spanky sounds, your the buzz feet and tuning system that they use to intonate the guitar is phenomenal too. The guitar showed up and it was perfectly in tune. This is the most I've had to tune it in like the last week. It's probably because there's all this hot testosterone in here, just steaming up these instruments.
What is hot?
Keep Buzz Featon's name out of your...
Yeah. If you guys could keep Buzz Featon's name out of your mouth. Yeah, it sounds like there's a little guy, you have a little sound guy in your pickups that's turning knobs and like doing stuff. It's crazy. They're so... Andre's laughing at me, so I... They got a little engineer in your pickups, dude.
I'd like to know the things that you imagine in your mind that you don't vocalize.
Yeah.
Because the things you do vocalize are really funny. So
Yeah,
I'd just like to know the stuff you're like, I better not let that out of my mouth.
Yeah. If you're telling me thinking of Poncho inside of here isn't funny...
I was trying to think of something alliterative with Poncho, like... there isn't one.
So yeah, Poncho just held up a sign to the window that said why they were asking if we never sing, which
we were singing earlier.
We were singing the Jurassic Park theme to Mic Check, which was nice. Maybe we'll release that as a YouTube
with
short.
original lyrics.
With original lyrics. I got to get rid of this one or else I'll talk about it all day. And we are trying to showcase guitars that are available to people that I didn't buy. So,
speaking of Les Pauls,
this is a 58 double cut TV yellow made to measure with a P90 in it. This thing rips. We are having a little bit of feedback from a transformer outside. So the massive amount of that you hear is not an indication of the guitar. It's just a single coil pickup and a huge electrical transformer outside. So yeah, all of the tone.
But can it do Tommy Emmanuel?
Yes.
Sure can. You're in drop D,
I
homie.
forgot I was in drop D, folks.
I was wondering if you were going to take it that far.
This guitar is so infinitely playable and so filled to the brim with mojo. This guitar I knew looking at the box. We got 20 Gibsons on one freight, and this was the one I wanted to see out of all of them. And that is why it is in the stream, because there is something that these double cut juniors, or juniors in general, any junior, single pickup, double pickup, they have this vibe that no other guitar can capture. And they are super playable. They have so much personality. They are a guitar that I could totally, again, kind of like the Ricks, where they are something that you would never, if you had 10 guesses of a guitar that I would buy, you typically wouldn't guess that. But they check such a unique box that other guitars can't, that I'm super over the moon with it. I could totally see myself taking this one home.
Well, the made-to-measure thing is like taking, you know, the Gibson custom shop sort of to the next customizable level.
100%.
And I think the primary thing, if I recall correctly, with this guitar is the tuning machines.
Yes.
That it's got. I think the neck was a little bit specific, and then the tuning machines, normally they would have like the Kluson, you know, kind of tulip looking, but those are what, the Grover Rotomatics on there?
Yes, which honestly, I trust the increased mass of the Grovers a little bit more than the Klusons.
Well, and that was such a typical upgrade, you know, back in like the, you know, 70s and 80s. There's so many, you know, not just Les Paul Juniors or specials, but Les Pauls in general, that they switched the Klusons out for the Grovers, just a little bit more, you know, substantial,
yeah,
and secure tuning machine.
Deja Voodoo says that Noise Gate's getting a workout.
Oh, there are 3 noise gates on this Axe FX, so it is yeah, you're not kidding. You said it, Deja Voodoo.
Yeah, they said the TV yellow looks pretty good and internet yellow too. One of those with a long neck tenon is on my list one day.
That is it. That's a long neck tenon right there.
Oh, this is long neck?
I think pretty much all the historic, not long, the tenon that goes into the body.
Okay. I was like, this thing is...
The part that you can't see underneath the pickguard there is the early ones, like the you know, 50s guitars basically had the longer tenon, and later on they went to a smaller one that was less stable, and it was less wood on wood. So there were, you know, wasn't quite as resonant and lively and stuff, and it wasn't as structurally stable either.
But it affects the scale length zero.
No,
yeah, okay, cool.
Yep, correct.
Yeah, because I was like, this feels like definitively short scale. It is like
but it's so clear still.
Yes,
like even I was just sitting here before the live stream, just strumming it acoustically, and the thing is
blooms.
loud.
It goes
really
like this
loud.
against your body. Yeah, I completely agree. That is why when I think of short scale guitars, I think of Les Paul Juniors. I don't think of as much as I love Fender guitars and Fender style guitars, I don't typically think of, or even Les Pauls. I don't think of a Les Paul as a short scale guitar. I just think of it as a Les Paul. When I think of like the scale length, 24 3/4, this is the guitar that comes to mind because of how, like you said, resonant they are. They are these guitars feel the most, their shape and size feels the most necessary. It feels like, oh, you did this for a reason. You weren't just trying to make the neck shorter to make it easier to play and to make the presentation a certain way. It actually, there's some intention to it. It definitely feels like they meant to do it that way. Yeah. So yeah, it is a very unique neck too. It's like it's not a huge one, but it's like a medium depth, but pretty wide as well.
Real round.
Yeah,
it's
very
almost
round.
Like a half circle.
Yeah, it's like a trying to think of the shape of the D. It's kind of like, it's almost, well, you can think of whatever you want to say about that.
I will restrain myself in the spirit of personal preservation. This one's nuts. Aside from your guitar, I'm pretty stoked on this one too.
This guitar we weren't expecting. This arrived today, and we made a spot for it because look at it. It just said custom metallic on the packing list when the guitar arrived, so we didn't know what to expect. We opened it up and were greeted with rainbow, galaxy, sparkle, whatever you want to call it. And it's
a dense sparkle.
Three-dimensional. I'm glad our cameras can pick it up somewhat. I mean, I've never seen a guitar perform more than the musician does. The guitar performs in three-dimensional space.
Except for maybe Takanaka's surfboard guitar.
Yes, yeah.
Gotta get me one of those.
Yeah, if you don't, look up Takanaka surfboard guitar, and you're welcome. We're trying to stock them soon. We just can't source them.
I don't think we have the room either.
If you saw the ceilings in here, we don't. Our building isn't tall enough. But all admiration of the finish aside, if this guitar was a solid color, it would be a absolute ripper as well.
If it had no paint at all.
Yeah, exactly. If it was just a block of wood, because it's a Suhr Custom Modern. I mean, come on. These guitars are just very similar to the Tom Andersons in that they worked out a lot of the kinks, and they know how to make a super strat style guitar, and they know how to iron out all the details in regards to it to make sure they're all perfect. This one has a Floyd on it, so it's even more modern. It's got this beautiful flamed roasted maple neck. One of the things that Tom Anderson does not do. So if that's a deal breaker, then there's a company that does do that. But that's why there's a million places to buy a guitar out there. Suhr pickups are some of my favorites too. They very responsive, very versatile. You can do anything with them. They also make a ton of different ones. They even put their pickups in other guitars. I bought a Strandberg Prague last year that has Suhr pickups in it. They sound absolutely phenomenal. That's one thing Suhr does just incredibly well. I mean, they do everything incredibly well. What am I talking about?
Now, can you do that same riff in legato? You got it.
I want to play this one. This is sick.
Moving on.
Yeah. I'm meandering a little bit. We got so many cool guitars, and then I spent like 20 minutes on the first two.
I'll hold this one for a while.
The trick is to not get distracted by it.
Look at all the colors, jeez.
Yeah. I was distracting myself while I was playing, just rotating it back and forth.
Don't point it at the camera because it will break the sensors.
I believe it.
Yeah, this is actually our third stream. We've gone through like 11 cameras. This one right here, this little lizard guy is a Ernie Ball Luke 3 in Luscious Luke Green. Luscious. What'd you tell me to say?
Luscious green.
Luscious is what this finish is. But
Luscious.
We got this one and a Fuchsia Sparkle in on the same day, and both of these guitars are phenomenal. Back to back, talking about the pickups of all these guitars, I can say the same thing that I've said about Suhr and Tom Anderson that I can say about Ernie Ball. Just unbelievably responsive, super versatile, and just fun. They make your guitar sound like you. They don't sound the same when everybody else plays them. Like these, I would say, are probably the most compressed out of all of them, right? Like
tight.
They're so tight. Super responsive bridge as well. Very loose feeling in a good way.
Are those active pickups?
I don't believe so. There is an active circuit in the back, but I think that's more for a boost than it is. I think it's got like a boost like the John Petrucci's do, right?
I think the Valentines have that too, and it's a loud boost.
Oh yeah, it's like 15 decibels. It's crazy.
Like really, if you were playing clean and you had enough headroom to do that boost and keep it clean, your volume is going to jump in a huge way.
It says in the listing that it's an active preamp. Push volume for gain boost.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So it's an active. It's just a boost though. It doesn't. They're not active pickups.
Right. Active preamp.
Yeah. Exactly.
Active preamp. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. They
We'll figure out our terminology soon enough, folks.
Yeah. They've started doing that on. I guess they do that on most of the signature models because I have a guitar student that has the Jason Richardson signature, and it also has the volume boost on it too.
Is that the guy from Seinfeld?
Yes, yeah. It's supposed to be his summer coming up, actually.
Okay. Thanks.
So anyway, this guitar sounds good.
Any favorites so far?
Yeah, let us know if you guys have any questions. We'd love to hear your opinions.
What are you guys playing this weekend? Any shred machines like these?
Yeah, I gotta get an Ernie Ball. Man, I need an Ernie Ball.
Scotty on Facebook says he's playing a PRS McCarty 594 Hollow Body 2.
Nice.
Classic.
Is that Mr. Russos by chance?
It is.
Nice. Good to have you, Scotty. Haven't seen you in a while. Hope all is well.
Yeah, I mean, I need one of those too.
Seriously.
I wouldn't mind having one.
Seriously.
I think we got to go to a quick commercial break on this guitar change.
Yeah. We do have. This is an important message from our sponsors.
Please stand by.
Yeah, please. If you watch only 30 seconds of our stream today, it's funny that the commercial is the most important part.
It is.
Life in the fast lane got you left in the lurch? Eddie's Guitars.
And we're back.
It's really riveting stuff, right?
Certainly.
It really makes you think about society.
Well, I mean, things are getting quick, but when you live life in the fast lane, baby, you know, it's like five-finger McGillicuddy.
Yeah,
you won't be left in the lurch, I can guarantee that.
Yeah, we'd like to, our
patron saint of harmonicas.
Yeah.
I have a feeling we're going to be hearing from his lawyer.
Yeah, if you know the man in the photo at the end,
drop his name in the chat.
Let us know where to send.
We want to send him free things.
Yeah, let us know where to send royalties to.
So we've got Brian on Facebook saying that they're playing a Jackson DK Modern HT6 and was curious about the electronics of what we're playing through right now.
Oh, yeah. Right now we're running a Fractal XFX 3 with a little foot switch controller through a Behringer X-Air 18. Just a couple pretty simple, I guess, as simple as an XFX patch can be. Just a couple gain patches, a couple clean patches with some stuff on it. Stereo effects, stuff like that. But yeah, big fan of the Fractal products. They make excellent stuff.
Deja Voodoo said Andersons are always gorgeous to look or glorious to look at, but they didn't know that they had them in Eat Your Heart Out PRS 10 top. Congrats.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of figured maple, I mean, they do all sorts of stuff. Figured koa tops.
Yes. That's what made it tough is when I was picking mine, where I was just like, man, I mean, I can get a sick maple top anywhere, but what made me pull the trigger with an Anderson, and the guys will tell you here, I'm not really like a gloss super glossy top on a guitar guy, but if I was going to get a figured piece of maple, of course I got to put a big gloss on it. But I saw their Wakesurf finishes, and I was just like, oh, well, that's something that only they do. So it's like you get the best of both worlds. You get an incredibly sourced, super figured top, and then you get something that's unique to the manufacturer too, you know?
Well, something that's far, far, far less talked about nowadays, only because it's so common. Tom Anderson was one of the first guys to use the type of finish that he's using, period, and not nitrocellulose lacquer or stuff like that. So from a, even, finish engineering standpoint, there's, again, just things that don't commonly come to mind, like, oh, I wonder what they use for that. It's like things that have been so completely and thoroughly thought out, and they'll give you 100 reasons why they use the finish they use, and 100 more reasons why they don't use the finishes they don't use.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
I completely agree, and which is a reason why we made sure to have one that's available in the stream today too. This is a Tom Anderson Angel, same model as mine, but just with slightly different features. It's actually very, very similar. It's caramel maple neck, pink logo on the headstock. I mean, come on. They just started doing that, and it's amazing. Black hardware, these really cool black nickel covers for the pickups, or black chrome. Yeah, I think it's black chrome. And then a magenta dog hair finish that really, really pops in person.
Yeah, it's awesome.
We are super big fans of anything dog hair. We had a Raven with orange dog hair on it a couple weeks ago. It's a really fun way to do grain fill.
It's striking, but if striking were understated,
yeah,
it's both at the same time.
I completely agree. And one thing I also forgot to mention in my guitar that really adds to why the Andersons sound the way they do, or at least a guess as to why mine would be, is their neck joint. It is it's an A-shaped neck joint. How can I get a camera B? So if you can see there, yeah, right in there, it is a A-shaped joint right there. There's a flat piece, and it's almost like a trapezoid, where they also only have 2 bolts in the neck too. The reason for that is the A-shaped neck joint, and the pressure from the sides keeps the neck in place, so they don't need to use it. So it's actually more in place than a guitar with 4 bolts on it.
It can't shift.
Exactly.
And there's no shifting in it the way, like, I was going to say old Strats, but I've played plenty of new Strats that do this.
Yeah, exactly. Just like the nature of bolt-on guitars. And I love bolt-on guitars. 90% of my guitars and basses are bolt-on. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just a natural part of the design. Not only did they circumvent that, they got a added bonus to where these guitars sustain and have the low end of not the full-on 100%, but they have characteristics of set neck guitars. They have sustain and low end of guitars that have like full-on PRS, Les Paul level, but with the spank of a Strat. And that's what ultimately made me like fall absolutely head over heels with these guitars. Is they give you it's like getting they give you a little it's like getting a dessert or ice cream with bacon on it. You're like, oh, this wasn't supposed to work, but it totally does,
Interesting illustration there.
You never had bacon ice cream before?
Oh, I've had it.
It's real good.
My favorite riff.
I mean, yeah.
That was crazy sounding.
Yeah, these guitars, you forget where you are, you forget what you're doing, you forget you're on a live stream when you're playing them. It's
been there.
They just make me happy. These guitars make me happy. Every guitar on this wall makes me happy. But yeah, Tom Anderson's or something else, man. This is another one that just came in today. Look at that. Look at that.
Anything called champagne sparkle is okay in my book.
Yeah, I mean, we don't get to pop very much champagne here in the basement, so it's nice for Gretsch to send us something to live vicariously through. This is a G6229 limited edition in champagne sparkle with gold hardware. It showed up on the truck today, and we just felt like we had to have it in the store, you know. Or we, of course, we had to have it in the stream, is what I mean.
Love that song. What are you doing this weekend, Hondro?
Oh, what am I doing this weekend?
Elden Ring?
Is that one of them digital online fancy games?
Yeah, I just play Elden Ring and then I gamble all my money on blackjack online poker.
Do you do that?
No, I don't.
I might try that.
I actually just gamble on how many copies of Elden Ring are going to sell. Ooh, these are Japanese made.
You know that? Yeah. You did. I'm saying you didn't know that.
I didn't know that these were in particular. Yeah.
I like how the pickguard is bound.
Yeah. This. I mean, I stared at this thing for quite a while, looking at all the little bells and whistles on it. Just yeah, it's almost like someone hit my Bigsby like 50 times. You know. We have one more for you, folks. It's been hiding off screen. You might have seen a billion strings in the bottom right corner of your screen. And this is the reason why. I've been waiting for this guitar for a while, and had my Tom Anderson not shown up, I probably would have taken this one home because of how much I've wanted one. This is a Strandberg Bowden NX8. You heard me right, 8 strings in twilight purple with Fishman fluences and true temperament frets. So not only is this guitar extended range to the point of having a low E to match your bass, but it's got true temperament frets to make sure that your intonation is as close to perfect as possible all the way up. So
you know any Tosin? I think you got it.
Well, we're all big Animals as Leaders fans here, and if you haven't heard their new album, it's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, they call Griffin the monomyth around here.
Yeah, because I only have one story.
Thought it was because of one riff.
I actually went and saw Animals as Leaders last weekend.
Oh yeah, you went out to Kansas City.
Yeah, I went
to
to
see
Kansas
them
City and saw them with intervals at the Truman, and it was amazing, life-changing.
I like the Truman.
Yeah, they built that since I lived in Kansas City for a number of years, and they built it after I left. So I was like, I swear to God, this was not here before. And they're like, no, it looks like it's been here a long time.
Right.
No,
right.
I think they built it in like 2017 or something like that. But yeah, it was cool. Very good show.
Yeah, I should have totally gone to that. I'm kicking myself for not going. But Tosin actually did play Strandberg guitars for a while before he started his own company.
Did he?
Yeah, yeah, he was one of the first guys that was a proprietor of them. I think he had one of the old like made to measures way back in the day when Ola was still making them. Actually, Ola still might be making one or two, but he doesn't very often. I think Matt forgot where he was, folks.
You do any two-hand stuff on 8-string at all?
Yeah, yeah. The cool thing about 8-string is you get an extra octave at the bottom, so you get to if you drop your F sharp to an E, you have an E, then a B, and then a regular 6-string guitar. So you basically have a bass and a guitar put together. What's cool about that is riff guys can just write metal riffs an octave down. Which means that if you do something that's like, you can just take it down and so yeah, I have a thing that's like, just like stuff like that. But yeah, you can do more composed, more melodic stuff. You just have to have a little more. You have to plan it out a little bit more. I really haven't like. I don't tap quite like you do, where I don't do like a thing where I go 1-2, where you'll do that, and I need to work on that more. That's something I've noticed in your playing. I'll like tap, release, and then do like a hammer on from nowhere. I've kind of leaned on that like hammer on from nowhere type thing for so long, so much so to where I'll explain that to another guitar player that doesn't do hammer-ons from nowhere a lot of the time, and that'll be like a huge hurdle for them. So it's like I've kind of used it as a crutch, and now I need to do more of the sequential tapping, like more with my right hand.
How did you hear about my first band, Hammer-Ons from Nowhere?
Hammer-ons from nowhere leads to
And we're coming to town, and we're from nowhere.
We're all thinking different songs here.
On that note, folks,
God bless you for your patience.
thank you so much. This has been an absolute blast. We'll see you next week, or possibly the week after, depending on how many acoustic guitars Matt has.
We'll come up with some kind of a fun theme, and as always, if you know, whether it's electric guitar concentric or acoustic guitar concentric, if there's a theme or a subject matter that you folks would like to see that you haven't seen us do yet. I know you were going to do in the future a Super Strat live stream with a whole bunch of, you know, a couple types of guitars that we played today, but more elaborate.
Get real into the nitty gritty about like what 2 different pickups in the same guitar would do, or 2 different bridges on the same guitar.
Even a lineage of,
yeah,
you know,
exactly.
where did some of this stuff start?
100%.
And, you know, all that.
Which iconic, that'd be a great brand to showcase.
Iconic,
they're like,
Suhr,
yeah, 100%.
Totally.
Yeah,
Fender, obviously.
Yeah, 100%.
Gretsch.
Oh yeah. Yeah, didn't we just get a Super Strat Gretsch?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that should be a fun one. But please, if you've got a theme in mind, a particular guitar in mind that we can implement into another stream,
we're super open to suggestions.
yeah, we do this for fun and for you guys, and to really just like keep the conversation going. So yeah, just keep it going back at us, and we'll we'd be happy to just showcase whatever you guys want. So yeah, we'll see you next week, folks.
Parting words there, Handy?
Don't do anything I wouldn't do.